Hello and welcome to Ward Talk, CTN's look at the political scene in Ann Arbor. I'm your host, Bonnie Gabowitz. We'll be discussing issues and solutions with the City Council members from our 5 wards each month. Joining us today is Lisa Disch from Ward 1. Welcome to Ward Talk. It's been quite a while since I last saw you, a whole year.
Has it really been that long?
Yes, it's been a year. So I'm glad to see you again. And we haven't talked about Ward 1. I know a lot that goes on in Ward 1 also goes on in the whole city. So I know you've been very busy.
Yes, we are all. This is a very busy city council.
Yes. And I know there's one thing going that's involved with your ward that's also involved with the whole city, and that's energy equity.
Yes.
If you could talk to us a little bit about that, since that might be a new term for some people.
Yes, that might be. Well,
I know the word energy is very, very well discussed.
yes.
So what's the equity part?
Yeah. Well, one of the central parts of the A20 plan, which is the city's carbon neutrality plan, is that equity is not just an incidental hope or aspiration. It's a core value of the energy, of the carbon neutrality plan. And so we, at council last week, we just voted to accept or to subcontract out a nearly $100,000 Department of Energy grant, and that will go to the Bryant community to do public engagement around establishing a geothermal heating district in Bryant. And so geothermal heating is where you use the changes of temperature between the air and the earth. This is a very rough, please do not hold me to this scientifically valid, but to heat homes. And so you are really, you are not mining anything. You are not extracting natural gas. You are not pulling coal. It is clean energy. And the city's goal is to pilot geothermal, a geothermal district in the Bryant neighborhood that would also extend to a couple of city facilities there, including the Wheeler Center, which is where some of our operations are located. And so many people who are well off in Ann Arbor can afford to put solar on their roofs, or maybe have even replaced all of their appliances with electric and all of that. And what we want to be sure is we are looking at this as a test plan for the city as a whole, but we're starting by making an investment in a neighborhood that has not gotten the same level of investment historically as other parts of Ann Arbor. And so we are organizing our energy initiative around equitable redistribution of resources.
So I just want to be clear on what the concept of equity is. It has to do more with availability or cost?
Well, this is actually providing this service. It would be the first in the city to get this service, and we've brought in a bunch of grants, and the one that we just approved is a political engagement grant or a public engagement grant, so that homeowners can opt in or out, hopefully in, once they know what it will mean for them, that it will mean clean energy that is reliable, that is cheaper, that is healthier, that is safer. And Bryant is going to get that first. Usually when there's an innovation, the people can afford it, get it first. And it's going to Bryant first. So
So that sounds like you'll probably be working on a lot of education and information to put out to really make sure people who live in that neighborhood know what their options are.
Yes, exactly, because you have to go into people's homes and change things, and we can't just do that. We can't just barge in and say, this will be good for you. We have to do public engagement and explain what it is, and have people opt in. But and so this grant from the Department of Energy is very exciting for us to have, and we work in partnership with the Community Action Network that that one of its communities is the Bryant community. One of its larger communities is Bryant neighborhood in the south of Ann Arbor.
And it sounds like this might be a great opportunity for more people who own homes to use the solar panels, because that's such an expensive project.
Yes, there is also a solar panel project for Bryant as well.
On top of that?
Because
okay.
you usually need both to reach 100% carbon neutrality for your heating and cooling. You usually need to combine solar and geothermal. So, yeah.
And so this is specifically in your ward?
Nope, that's not in my ward. That's in the Bryant neighborhood.
Oh, the Bryant
So
neighborhood.
there is an energy equity thing in my ward, actually, that just happened today. But because I have a day job, I could not go to the ribbon cutting. But we had a ribbon cutting in Carytown of an EV charger, so an electric vehicle charger, that's mounted on an electricity pole. And we've done this in partnership with DTE. And this is because not everyone not everyone has a garage. And if you want to have an electric vehicle and you don't have a garage, where are you going to charge it? And I don't think it's feasible for everyone to use the public chargers that are located in various parking garages around town. And so we have mounted this one on an electricity pole in the street in a residential neighborhood in Carytown, which is in Ward 1. And I am so thrilled that that is happening for those residents, many of whom are renters in that area. And so again, it's a very nice benefit that makes these energy improvements, I mean these energy commitments, even a green commitment, available to people who rent rather than own.
So is this something that could actually be used throughout the city and be expanded?
I don't think
or
there
is
will
it more
be
of an experimental?
I think that, I know that there's one more in the city because we got funding for, I believe, just 2 of them. And I suppose there could be some more, but I don't know if this will be a widespread thing or not. I'm not sure what the best
But
way is.
at least it's a step forward.
Yes, absolutely. It's a step forward, yes. Yes, it's all, you are right though, it is all about accessibility. It's all about making these innovations accessible to everyone at every income level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, I understand there's a comprehensive plan process going on.
Yeah.
And I'd really like more details on that because it doesn't ring a bell in my head.
Oh, this is just the most exciting thing happening in the city right now from my perspective as a member of the Planning Commission. And of course, when I'm here with you, I am only speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the Planning Commission. But the city is undertaking an update of its comprehensive land use plan.
Is this something that's done maybe like every 10 years or something?
Yeah, it's supposed to be done, I think, every 5 years, but I think it's been 10 since we did it. And this is very important because it includes a look at our zoning. It includes a look at natural features, so the protections that we afford to landmark trees and wetlands and other things that we value in Ann Arbor. And it another thing that it will do is currently our comprehensive plan is actually a compendium of 9 or 10 or 12, I'm not even sure, separate plans, which doesn't make it very comprehensive. In fact, they're not always coordinated and sometimes they're at odds with each other. And so this comprehensive land use update will unify our approach throughout the city, and it will take a look at some of the aspects of our zoning code, minimum lot size requirements, other aspects of land use that stand in the way of greater equity and of the provision of, of relieving the supply crisis that we have for housing.
Yes, and I think in terms of affordable housing, and I hear people saying, well, what are they doing about affordable housing? And I think it's a hard concept to understand that you have to start with the rules and the zoning issues, and you have certain guidelines, and unless that changes, you can only, if something comes along, you have to allow that type of building, even though it might not be, for affordable housing. But if it goes along with the zoning laws, then you have no choice. So it sounds like this is something that you would be, you're considering as to how can we adjust to what's happening in the city. For instance, I know on my list is talking about Briarwood Mall and rezoning some of that. And the whole idea is to adjust our needs so that you can do more, especially with housing.
Yes, and so we would like our zoning to be more flexible and more hospitable to doing more with the space that we have, because with the Greenbelt we have constrained Ann Arbor's ability to grow. And in fact we have it's over. Ann Arbor can't grow. And so if we want to ease our supply crisis, because we don't have enough units to house everyone, we need to be able to do more with the land that we have. And so we want to change zoning to make it more hospitable to that. And what I'm very excited about is that we have appointed the members of the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. They're going to be 14 people, and these will be advising the Planning Commission throughout the development of the plan, and they will specifically be ensuring that we are doing outreach to many diverse voices in the city. And I'm very excited about this subcommittee because 100 people applied to be on it, which is an amazing show of civic energy. We have chosen 14 people, and we have made our choices to elevate the voices of African American people, both residents and non-residents of the city, as well as we have 3 seats are for people who do not live in Ann Arbor. I think about half the committee is composed of renters. And so this committee is really trying to offer, just an elevation of the voices of people who are not heard as much as some groups in Ann Arbor who have more time and leisure to attend to politics.
Right.
So yes.
Right. So this is just forming now?
We just signed off on the appointment of that committee. So the application process, we had the application portal open for a month and got those 100 people interested, which was
that's
really
impressive.
fantastic. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, when we come back from our break, we have some more things to talk about with Ann Arbor.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
We want to hear from you, so please email us questions to ctn@a2gov.org or tweet us at #CTN in Arbor. We're taking a break now, and we'll be coming right back with more from Ward Talk.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Arbor Mayor John Heftia, and I'm here with First Ward Council members Gene Robinson and Bob Johnson. And this is a program called Ward Talk, and it's an extrapolation.
Part of the fabric of Ann Arbor is local politics. In 2002, CTN dove into the topic by inviting council members from each ward to answer viewers' questions live on TV.
Hello, thank you for calling.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Heftia. This is Doug McAlpin, cashier for Republic Parking. And
good evening. I'm Rachel Tiedke, and I invite you to join us for Ward Talk.
In the beginning, the mayor served as moderator, but this quickly was replaced by an impartial host.
I'm your host,
Over the years,
Gabowitz.
the show has welcomed 3 hosts, with Bonnie Gabowitz at the helm since 2014.
From our 5 wards each month. Joining us,
One of the things that many of us are thinking about is what's going to happen to Lower Town.
Versus what was then Gilman Sciences, but is now Paul Gilman.
So this is going to involve doing some rezoning in the downtown.
Residents are very concerned about cars speeding through their neighborhoods.
People who've maybe never gone and looked at a blog before will
Over 180 episodes, the show has greeted countless council members and 2 long-serving mayors, with no sign of slowing down.
Several times, and last summer,
As I said, I grew up here, and we have had skateboarders in this community from the very beginning.
It's a new millage, but it replaces the one that exists.
it's a heavily traveled area.
Yes, and it's actually, it'll be a 2-year program to actually do it. And
Some of them 300, 400, 500 new units.
To work with Justice Indeed and to do this in their own neighborhood.
Not quite.
If that's an understatement, I don't know.
A little bit. Yeah.
And we're probably into the last few seconds, so we can let them take it away with the music. And thank you for if you watched us tonight.
This is Rachel Tiedtke saying thank you for viewing Ward Talk.
this is Community Television Network of Ann Arbor, City TV Channel 19. Thanks for watching.
For Ward Talk, I'm Bonnie Gabowitz. Until next month. Hi, I'm Bonnie Gabowitz, and this is Ward Talk. I'm speaking with Lisa Disch from Ward 1. Lisa, we talked quite a bit about some of the projects going on and some of the new projects. And I know that we were just talking about rezoning and looking at how things can change to make it easier for more proper building to be done. And Briarwood Mall is the only mall in the area. It's been there for a long time, and I know the city's looking at rezoning changes to make this area maybe more than just a group of stores.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, that requires rezoning. So I know this has been a process. They've been doing it for a while now, but they actually they're looking at a plan of having housing where the old Sears store used to be. So they're looking at breaking that down and creating a new space. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the things that I think everybody is really excited about in Ann Arbor, because we all want to take, an underused mall and a mall that's kind of outmoded.
And this is going on throughout the whole country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, this developer has done it at other locations as well. So they own just part of the Briarwood Mall, and it's the Sears part. And the way I like to think about it is, Joni Mitchell sang about how they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Well, we're going to rip up a parking lot and put housing and recreation space and an athletic field and a high-end grocery store and a sports store. I mean, I don't know.
Like an arena or recreational place.
I think it's going to have, there's going to be an athletic field, but then there'll be a store that sells sporting equipment. We don't know who any of the vendors are going to be yet, so we use all these generic terms. And it is, I think it's around, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get the exact number, but it's around 300 units of rental housing that there will be. There will be a dog park. This is going to be dog-friendly housing, because the developer understands that we want to attract young professionals and give them a place to live in Ann Arbor, and they want a place where they can have a life. They don't want to keep on living like students, and so if they're going to rent, they would like to be able to rent and really build a life and have places to play with have their families play and have their dogs play, if that's instead of or in addition to a family. And so it's really a great vision, and I think we are all just going to be so filled with joy, not driving by basically an empty space with a sea of parking spaces, which, yuck, who needs that? So,
well, also, that's a great area where you already have public transportation in place, so that people who work in the city can use the public transportation and don't need to use their cars. So I'm sure that's also part of the planning.
That's right, and this developer is putting in better connectivity with the bus, with our bus service that exists, and then better pedestrian and cycling amenities. So all of that is going to be very helpful.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah.
So this sounds like it's a long-term project of several years.
Yes, but I think they're thinking it'll take 2, maybe at most 3. So I think that's pretty quick, given the scope.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And then we're hoping that that'll be an inspiration to the other owners of some of the stores at Briarwood.
I think the fact that you mentioned that the developer has experience with this and has a vision that's already been tried out, that to me sounds, even more exciting. That this isn't just an experiment.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so that's terrific.
Now, I have a quick update on the last session I had. We talked about some public toilets being worked, the idea of contracting a company to have more availability for public toilets in the certain areas. And I believe you've gone forward with that, and you've actually have a contract with the company.
Yes. It's called The Throne, and they are really very nice, touchless public toilets that are all ADA accessible, and we will be locating 2 of them in the DDA, and they will be, really centrally located, and one of them will stay in the same spot, and the other one will move to 2 places because we're piloting out which would be a better place. And one of those locations is around the Maynard garage. But the DDA has ran extensive public engagement for this to decide on the locations. And we have another, I think, 8 of them that we haven't decided the locations for. And what's nice is, even though we are contracting with this company, which is great because they can provide, just at a much lower cost, all the things that need to happen to make these appealing, they will be hiring local workers to perform the services that they need. And so that's very nice.
Is this a 1-year trial run?
I think so.
Yeah, so we'll be looking to see when that's actually gets started. And I understand it's basically running the whole operation is on the expense of the company, not on the city. Is that correct? I had the feeling that, from what I read, most of the maintenance is picked up by the company.
Yes, yes, we have a contract with them to do that. Yeah.
Okay, great. And another topic that was mentioned, I want to get more specific on, are what's called downtown premiums.
Yes.
So that's a new phrase for me. So what's that all about?
All right, so the city has had downtown premiums for a long time, like decades. And a premium is when you tell a developer, if you would like to develop in this area of our town, and you would like more of something than our zoning code provides, and it's usually height, you would need to provide something that we want. And so there used to be a premium for providing residential housing, but it turned out that developers all wanted to do that. So why are we?
So it wasn't an incentive.
It wasn't an incentive, exactly. And in 2019, the then sitting council made a revision to our premium structure and said to developers, if you want more, if you want to increase the ratio of the mass and height of your building relative to the lot size, you can, if you want that, you need to give us either you can give us a combination of affordable units on site or a payment in lieu, or all affordable units on site. So the premium was constructed to encourage more provision of affordable housing or a lump sum payment that would go into our affordable housing fund. At that time, we did not have the affordable housing millage. And so there was nothing in that fund because we didn't have a millage to feed it. Now we have a millage. And so everything that gets built in the city is paying into the affordable housing fund because it pays property taxes. So whether we are asking them to make a payment into the fund or not, the property tax does that. Now, since 2019, the number of downtown projects that used the premium and gave us support for affordable housing is zero. And so this, for whatever reason,
it's such a big disappointment.
It is, right? And so for whatever reason, that didn't, we were actually discouraging development that is most efficient, that is to say, that gives us height where we want it and that makes good use of our space. And so we have done away with the premiums, those with the request around affordable housing and sustainability. And we have said that you can, what's allowable, the heights that are allowable in the downtown, you may simply build to them. You do not need to offer us a premium in order to access all that height. So essentially, I left this little piece out, but it's really important to understand that we have height allowances in the downtown that are more generous than they are in other parts of the city. And in the core downtown zone, most of it is 180 feet. But you could not build to that height without offering a premium if you were a developer. And so now what we've said, okay, you didn't like those premiums. Those didn't work for you. You weren't accessing them at all. And so we're just going to give you the height. Because what we know is A, that we want to have height downtown. That's an appropriate place for it. And B, that the bigger you're building, the more property taxes you're going to pay us. And a share of that is going to go into the Affordable Housing Fund, which we now have through the millage, right? And so we have another way of capturing resources with affordable housing that will not stall growth.
So it sounds like, looking ahead, we're in a much more positive space than we were, let's say, a year or two ago when things were stalling. So that's very, very exciting.
It is really exciting.
Yeah.
It is really exciting. And it just is, I mean, thank you, voters of Ann Arbor, for voting for the affordable housing millage, because the thing that we cannot do, you were mentioning this, what we can do with zoning. The thing that we cannot do because of Michigan state law, we cannot say anyone who wants to develop in Ann Arbor has to have 15% or 20% affordable units. Our hands are tied there. But by creating an affordable millage, affordable housing millage, what we have said is that anyone who builds anything in Ann Arbor is going to be contributing to the Affordable Housing Fund. And so even if we can't require you to provide units, you can give us money. We can buy buildings. We can provide affordable units, as we are doing.
Wow, that's so exciting. The time has gone by so fast, but you've given us some really important facts. You've filled in a lot of spaces of information. So I want to thank you so much for being on the council and doing all the work that you're doing. And it's a pleasure hearing good news.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming and visiting with us.
It's so nice that you invited me.
Remember to join us for a new episode every month. We want to hear from you, so please email us at ctn@a2gov.org. Attention, Ward Talk. You can also follow CTN and ask questions on Twitter at twitter.com/CTN Ann Arbor. We'll make sure to include your questions. To watch this and all of CTN's program, head online to youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor. For Ward Talk, I'm Bonnie Gabowitz. Until next month.